Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of Tarot for America. I'm just trying to figure out how to put together my casting area. I probably should have done that beforehand, but we're gonna try to make do. Uh, Pardon the mess. Uh, I've been a little bit sloppy when it comes to my workspace, primarily because it's also been my dining space and basically like my space to just exist. All right, so there we go. That looks good, right? All right. Hi, Karen. Today we're actually going to be bringing on Karen Marie Shelton. She's one of my favorite human beings. And we're also going to be doing a little bit of predictive tarot because I think that well, I actually forgot most of the stuff that I predicted. I think I predicted like hello.
Hi. Hi, Beth.
So, um yeah, I was just telling the viewers the last time that I did Tarot for America. Would you say that I was correct in most of this stuff? Because I actually forgot most of what I predicted.
Yeah, you were very accurate. I kept track. But what's more important is when you do private readings for me, which is worth every single penny, the first reading you ever did for me, 90% of everything you predicted came true like in the first 2 weeks. Oh no, where did you go?
Can you see me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to prop up stuff and I have it on like a candle. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So yeah, just so you guys know, you can actually DM me and I'll be happy to do private readings. I think that for the next 2 weeks, because they actually helped me get out of a bad headspace, I'm going to be doing pay what you want.
Oh,
So,
that's really good.
so if you
You know,
guys want a reading, DM me.
you and I talked about that earlier today. Right now, Uranus and Neptune is your ruler. Because
Mm-hmm.
even though you're Pisces, you have a lot of Capricorn. But
Mm-hmm.
right now, Saturn is retrograde in Pisces, and
It's
Uranus
awful.
is retrograde, and Neptune is retrograde. So you're kind of going backwards here. So right now is a really good time to dig really deep. I'm sure your readings are going to be extra special.
Yes. Actually, I'm not sure if anybody here has heard about the GATE program. Well, there's there's a growing group of people around my age, maybe a little bit older, who have been like they were part of the gifted and talented program. I myself was one of them. And the weird thing is that a lot of us have started to remember things that don't necessarily make sense. And I found out that like some of the memories I have of school, such as a space camp that apparently didn't exist,
Oh no.
um, those are apparently things that were part of this program.
Oh,
And one of the things that they have is the gateway tapes, which are meant to help enhance psychic abilities, help enhance remote viewing. I tried that last night and I'm not doing that again.
okay. All right. Too weird, huh?
Um, it, it like I normally can do remote viewing. I've taught myself my own method, but I
You did
tried
it
it
with
with the,
me. Remember,
I
you
know,
did it with me. Yeah.
like it's really weird. I can't quite explain how it happens with me, but it just does. It almost feels like I'm just like reaching without reaching. And I just kind of like zip places in my mind and stuff just like comes to my mind without me knowing it. But I tried the gateway tapes and I promptly had a panic attack and I couldn't figure out why. I
No,
was
no,
like,
no.
okay, this does not resonate. But if you guys have had any good experiences with them, please tell me about them. I am always very curious. Everybody has their own technique when it comes to reading. Some of us, such as Karen, are very, very talented astrologers. I myself do cards and I tend to intuit a lot of things. Um, the more like people tends to, you know, work with me, the better my intuition is. Like I know that sounds a certain type of way, but that's just actually the God's honest truth. Um, so there's that. This time around, I noticed that most of the stuff that I predicted kind of came true already. Um, the major things that were starting to that confused the heck out of me when I first read that upcoming thing was about Trump and women. And lately women, like the crimes with sexuality, those all kind of came out in ways I wasn't expecting. So that was kind of cool. Also while I was shuffling, these two came out. The Magician card, this is often a trickster card, and the Ten of Pentacles, which is interesting because it also comes with an Ace of Cups. So it feels like a lot of people are going to start retreating into their families. A lot of people are going to start getting a little bit more susceptible to people who don't have their best interests in mind. And in many cases, I feel like that's actually from the government.
Well, what's happening? They're bringing troops into Washington, D.C. In fact, I have a friend who lives about 30 miles south. She said 95 is just jammed with tanks and, troops coming in. And then in Portland, I have friends in Portland, and they're going to be moving into Portland. What other city is going to have that happen? So that is a very accurate comment that you just made. I mean, why would people
Um,
withdraw into their families if this is happening?
so I think that maybe we should take a look at both like right wing and left wing generalities, like what's going to happen to like each
Okay,
side of the political spectrum.
here
Because
we go.
obviously what is going to happen to somebody who is a crybaby left-leaning person like myself is going to be a little bit different than say a person who's hard right, working out on the farms, God bless the USA, John Deere tractors, passing around the hand egg on Thanksgiving or whatever they do.
Okay.
So let's find out what's going to happen in both blue states and red states.
Okay.
Right. Let's do three cards for each. Blue states, I see, believe it or not, these two came out. I see a lot of women rising in blue states, but I also see a lot of immigration coming from blue states. I see a lot of women and children leaving.
Blue states? Wow.
If you think about it, they would actually be more likely to have the means to leave.
Okay.
This could also be, and while I usually use the Six of Swords as like a benevolent card, I could also see the Six of Swords here since the person is actually driving them. I could see the deportations actually being much more heavy in the blue states.
Okay.
Um, but it's interesting that I got a lot of like women with wealth. Like I see like the Queen of Wands. A lot of people have said that I'm their embodiment of the Queen of Wands because it's a hot-headed person, kind of dramatic, um, very much an artist type, very vocal. Um, I see this and I see the Nine of Pentacles, which involves a woman in the lap of luxury, kind of solo. And I see the King of Wands here, which is interesting because we got the two Wands family. So I'm seeing like maybe there's a little bit more distance between the genders, but at the same time, I think that I'm getting the feeling that the romantic relationships there are going to be a lot less strained than what you might see in the red states. And
Well, you got the abortion issue, the reproductive rights. South Carolina is working very hard to ban birth control, not
Mhm.
just abortions, but birth control. And Florida is suing, one of the pro life is suing the pro abortion groups because of advertisements about the abortion pill. So those are
Mhm.
both red states. Well, South Carolina, Florida, Texas, all red states.
So let's find out what's going to happen with the folks in the red states now that we've got a little bit of the blue states. Because I definitely think that it's interesting that I got a lot of like adults feeling more relaxed, especially a lot more single women. But I also saw an increase in maybe deportations or immigration. I could see a lot of like people from, say, Wisconsin be like, you know what? I'm just going to take a year trip in Canada and
Yeah,
then just not come back.
right. There are a lot of people making plans to leave the country.
Hmm.
And that's a big topic right now, leaving.
It is. So let's find out. Oh, this one came out.
Which one?
The Magician.
Oh my gosh, okay.
And then we got the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. And this is for the red state. So remember when I said the Magician? This is usually somebody who will pull the wool over your eyes because, like,
Yeah.
hey, look, don't look what's up my sleeve. Oh, look, there is a magic trick. Well, tricksters can be very entertaining and very charming people. But generally speaking, if you get this card and I'm the one reading it, I'm going to be warning you somebody's being very deceitful. I'm getting the feeling that the red states are going to be in a culture of deception. Like it's going to be state-run deception. Like you're going to see a lot of stuff that is being taught in schools that is patently false. You're going to see a lot of things that are being mentioned in, say, um, medical writing that's state sponsored, that is patently false. And that has something to do with this, the Four of Pentacles. This is the miser card. Misers, they want their money. And you're going to see like the feeling of greed ratcheting up to a new level. And that's where I'm seeing the Eight of Pentacles. Like this is usually an apprenticeship card, but it's also a card, probably the only one short of the Ten of Wands, which involves hard work. And I think that's going to end up being a lot of the greedy people kind of just like pushing and pushing and pushing to see how much they can extract from the working class.
Well, what about just happened with the announcement that Tylenol was related to autism? And what's happening now is there's a big push on the red states to promote the idea that the birth control pill is extremely dangerous and toxic, which has been in use for 20 years, and it is less toxic than Viagra, Tylenol, and penicillin. But
So
that
let's
lies out there.
let's do a little bit about the current situation of the health crisis in America because I think that that's one of those things where everyone is getting affected one way or another. And I need to tell people I am very, very pro-choice, vehemently so. I also occasionally have to use hormones because otherwise I turn to a psychotic mess, if you can't tell.
No,
Um,
you do not. You're just a Pisces, please. They're just,
I'm the most
I love
fiery.
Pisces. I love Pisces. No, I just
I'm
love them. They're so, authentic, very authentic,
oh,
not crazy, just authentic.
so some just came out of my deck.
Okay, what do you got?
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, this is not good.
Are we doing blue or red right now?
I just asked about the health crisis in America.
Oh, health crisis in America. Okay. Oh no. Ugh.
There is a lot of theft going on, and it's a lot of like extreme bullying going on. There's going to be a lot of people who die as a direct result of this crisis. And what's interesting is I also got these two. This one is the 10 of cups. This is a warning sign when paired with these two that's going to affect families. It's going to affect mothers. It's going to affect the elderly.
Are we talking about some sort of almost like a pandemic?
It wouldn't shock me because I also got the Page of Wands, and that's usually a new beginning or a, you know, anytime I pull up the Page of Wands, I usually end up with some sort of weird stuff happening. It's like a new opportunity, it's a new message. There's definitely going to be some new updates to the health crisis that are going to severely impact families. Like, this is one of the only ones where you see a woman and an old man.
Oh my God.
The actually the man, the woman, and the young child, and even the livestock, they all have their faces somewhere close to the viewer. The only one who can turn their back and say nothing is happening is the man.
Okay. Well, there's this whole thing about whether you'll be able to get shots anymore. There's this whole thing. There's a major crisis with all kinds of contamination of food. There's a
Yep.
lot of contamination of food. And, they're saying that COVID is still out there. And without people being able to get immunized.
People are going to pass away. This also fell out while I was shuffling. This is the star.
Are.
S-
Mhm.
The star is basically like it's having hope. There is a lot of hope. This could also be a sign that people are going to start turning towards religion in order to try to get their needs met.
Ugh.
Now, this was on the bottom of the deck, and this is the Four of Cups. This is you're asking, but ain't no one saying yes to you.
Okay.
So I'm seeing like it's gonna get really rough, especially like if you have medical issues already.
Okay.
Um, it
Like if you
now
have
is the time
diabetes
to
or heart disease, which elderly people, younger people, school
yes,
children, maybe because, their immune systems are not well formed, maybe people with immune system disorders. Would you
yeah,
say that? Okay.
yeah. So now is the time where if I were just going off the cards, obviously, like everybody has their own choices. Everybody can do only so much for themselves, and some people can do more than others. If you have the chance to stock up on things that you need, now would be a good time to do so. Now would be a good time to establish networks. Now would be a good time for you to brush up on certain things, such as food safety, such as growing your own food, things along those lines.
Definitely food safety. There is every week a new thing coming out. Even Trader Joe's, which used to be super, super safe, a big scandal came out last week about the linguine and it looks like spaghetti and meatballs, but it's linguine and meatballs, and they found contamination in a large number of those. And that's Trader Joe's, which I used to trust Trader Joe's, but I mean, no grocery chain is really immune anymore because there's so much E. coli and other contamination in the food. So just make sure everybody stays aware of the dangers of what could be out there, right?
I'm so happy that I'm a human garbage disposal, I swear. Like anybody who's known me for a very long time can tell you that I have a cast iron stomach.
Well, that's good, but not everybody does.
Yeah, I'm the only person I know who has eaten months old rancid meat and not
No,
had an issue.
no. I've had
Um,
botulism. It is not fun. I've had food poisoning 3 times, from going to restaurants. I got food poisoning from shrimp. I got botulism from a can of tuna fish a long time ago. I wound up in the emergency room both times, so it is not a good fun thing to
I
do.
had food poisoning once and only once, and by the time that I had been eating it, I didn't notice that my food was nice and fuzzy. So,
Ugh, Ossiana. Oh my
what were you
gosh.
expecting? I used to be a crust punk. I've eaten out of dumpsters before. This is just
Okay, okay. So you have an excuse. All right. We'll give you a pass there.
yeah.
But everybody else here that wants to be
Don't do
concerned about their families and their
yeah.
children, yeah,
If
please.
like it's like if I were like, just out and about, I'd be like, okay, what can I do to start figuring out how to decrease my food bills? If you have space in your home or on your lawn or anywhere, get a tree, get a lime tree, get a pawpaw tree, like an American mango tree. I just found out that they're capable of growing in New Jersey. And I heard
Mango
that they're
people, that's
amazing.
interesting. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Well,
Yeah.
and having your own because on January the 20th, let me give a little astrology notification here. 2 very large planets, Saturn and Neptune, are coming together on January 20th. And they're going to eventually, then shortly after, they're going to be in Aries. And Neptune's going to be in Aries for a long time, many years, more than 10. And
Oh,
whenever Neptune is in a fire sign, historically going back 300 years, I've gone back 300 years. Anytime Neptune is in a fire sign, we eventually have double digit inflation. And that's going to affect food and corn and wheat and the foods we eat. So now's the time to think about having your own garden or, learning to cook cheap meals or to eat more frugally. But like you just mentioned, that's a really good thing. We've got a few months before it kicks in. It usually takes about 6 to 12 months, but you'll start seeing the price of food skyrocket in 2026.
Yeah. Eventually, obviously, the cost of living is going to have to adjust with wages because if they don't, there's going to be much, much larger problems, and billionaires do not even want to touch that. Uh,
Well, they have
because
bunkers, so they can go to their bunkers.
they have bunkers, but that also means that people are just going to start ignoring the money system as a way of doing stuff. So actually, let's take a look a little bit further into what's going to happen with the American housing crisis, because we also have that as a result of BlackRock, and BlackRock is starting to hit its ceiling, and we're on we're teetering on the verge of a bubble, and it's being kept artificially inflated, but it's not going to be able to stay that way for very long. You don't have to be a psychic to figure that out. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
So let's find out what's going to happen with the price of housing and everything.
Okay, that's a good question.
It looks like there's actually going to be a lot more housing programs to put people in houses.
Well, that would be good. We really need that.
It's either that or it's going to be people asking for loans. It's interesting because I want to say that it's going to be government based or government backed because you see the scales of justice here. Like there's a certain point where even the politicians, as corrupt as they are, realize that an extraordinarily large population of homeless people is going to become a physical danger to them.
That's already
So I
happening in some cities, though. That's art like in Los
yeah.
Angeles. Some of the cities, parts of Texas, that's a problem.
So as far as the housing market goes, I do see that there's going to be like a lot of introspection. And I almost want to say that this is like just as like the collective. It might take you longer to find a house, or it might take you longer to say find the right house. There's going to be a lot of observation, there's going to be a lot of searching. There's going to be a lot of issues when it comes like the hermit is usually like a soul searching card and it's also a research card.
Okay.
And I think that what we're seeing there is the actuaries.
What about the interest rate? This has been a big issue.
It's
The Fed just lowered it, but there's no guarantee they won't raise it again.
the devil in justice. Some like I'm pulling these out and I'm seeing like it definitely looks like the housing market's actually going to balance out because justice, the 6 of pentacles, this they're all very good. Um they're
Cards
all very good cards. But it's interesting that I also picked out the devil because that's usually a sign of permanence, but it's also like a sign of almost like an addiction or a greed. And to a point, I think that the housing might actually be tied to something political.
could be. Well, how does that tie in with the cards you got before about religion?
Let's find out what's going to happen with a little bit more. I'm going to ask what's going on with the devil card in the housing market. What does this exactly mean? Hanged man. So there's going to be a lot of stuff in limbo. A lot of people are not going to want the terms that they're going to have to deal with. But they're going to be stuck and it's going to be a little bit of an uphill battle for the average American.
Well, if we have inflation, and the interest rates, like you were talking about the card you were drawing before, if things become scarce, if we do develop problems with double digit inflation, this could be a problem for people being able to afford a house. I mean, if interest rates skyrocket for buying a house.
I also see the 3 of cups, and usually this is the celebration card. And I also shuffled again, and I see the Ace of Pentacles. So I definitely see like there's going to be some serious alleviation of the housing crisis. It's not necessarily that people are going to have a hard time finding a house in the near future. It's that they may have to make sacrifices that they don't want. For example, they might not be able to keep their pets. Those who are able to keep their pets might have a much smaller house than what was traditional. Now, the 3 of Cups, I also kind of got that feeling of it being a sense of banding together. Like you're going to start seeing a lot more roommates well into 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond. Or you might see like multi-generational houses.
Yeah.
Um a lot of people are going to start living a little bit more cramped quarters, so to speak, or they might end up like with communes simply because it's going to be hard to afford everything in the more traditional sense of the word. Like a traditional middle class lifestyle is going to be very, very hard to obtain, even with two salaries for the foreseeable future. At least that's what I'm feeling.
And
It
what
might
is that?
change in 10 to 20 years.
And what's that card you got that sort of gave you this whole thread? Which card do you
The
feel that signified this?
I think that it was three, that entire thread I got the 3 of cups from,
Oh yeah, 3 of Cups, right, that's what you said.
but I also saw the devil, which is like these are going to be long-standing contracts, and not everyone's going to like having to like, live with like another couple or having their kids being raised partially by their aunties and their grandmas. Not everybody has a very supportive family, and that's going to make some people like struggle quite a bit. But at the same time, it's going to be overall beneficial because a lot of people have been struggling with like the hermit housing. Those who are alone are going to be very alone. Those
Loneliness.
who band together are going to be the ones who tend to do a lot better financially and socially and health wise. So, to a point, it's almost as if, like, while it's going to be cheaper to live with people, it's also just going to be healthier for a lot of people as long as they choose the right people. Um, let's see what else we've got in terms of let's ask about the job market actually.
Oh, that's a really good one. Especially, I want you to ask your cards about, the evolution of AI and the change in technology. I mean, we're in a whole new technological era. We're starting an 18-year period, which is a whole new era of technology. How is that going to play out for jobs and what jobs will be good and the job market in general?
So let's find out what's going to happen with the AI and with the job market because I have my own feelings on the subject. So we're just gonna see what they say about the job market, AI, the whole works.
Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of layoffs. There's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be cut away. They're not gonna be able to get the type of jobs that they once had back. However, with the Page of Swords also comes apprenticeship. There's gonna be new skills. You're gonna see a lot more solopreneurs. You're gonna see a lot of people building their own brand, working towards X, Y, and Z. And to a point, this could also be a sign that we're going to start seeing a lot more people doing craftsman type stuff. Trades are going to be white hot. Making candles, growing food, fixing plumbing, electricity, like all those things, those are going to be the new gold standard. You're not going to see people being like, marry a computer programmer. No, they're gonna be like, "No, marry yourself a blue collar person." And that's gonna be a very big shock for a lot of people who, their entire life have spent hearing, "Get an education, get an education, get an education." Physical skills are gonna start taking over because you can't really outsource all of them.
Well, think about it. Since so many immigrants are being forced out of the country and they are the source of our building trades, who's going to be
The
doing
immigrants
maintenance?
got deported. That means that those who are actually putting in the work, I'm not saying this in like the ice manner, but those who are actually willing to put in the physical work, because you see the wooden stick here, what's being made here? It's wood.
Oh, wood, yes. Building.
Like, there's going to be people who are going to be able to fill those roles. And when they do, they're going to find themselves in a much better situation. But for some of these people, like, it's going to have to be a new dawn. People are going to hit their rock bottom. People who always thought that they'd have the cushy little office jobs. If they're not already putting in work, doing business, trying to market themselves, trying to create something new, they're going to find themselves they're gonna have to recreate themselves. I also see a lot of logistics here. You're gonna see a lot more courier work. You're gonna see what happened to Oceana's right eye. Well, a box fell on my face at work, so I was
Oh no.
yeah, I was trying to like
I thought maybe
cover it
your
up.
cat did that because earlier when I was talking to you, your cat was like hanging all over you. So I thought maybe you bumped into your cat or something.
Well, the scratch on my forehead actually was from me trying to bathe my cat
Oh, okay. When did that happen? Today?
a couple days ago.
Oh.
Trying to remove a cat from your face is a lot harder than it sounds.
No, no. I mean, they want to be there. They're going to be there.
It was one of my cats went full face hugger mode. He did not want his bath. Unfortunately, he had decided to go break dancing in a litter box.
Oh no. Ick. He could be on a commercial. You know, the cat that's dancing that has to use the litter box. You should get
Yes, but
your cat an agent.
well, he was also rolling around in his own turds. So,
Okay.
he
You know.
no, he does that as a tantrum if I don't put him in a dress or if I don't give him enough treats for his liking. So, that's, uh that's the scratch that you see. There's a couple of other scratches up, like, near my eye,
Oh
but
yeah, I see those. Yeah. I'm glad
yeah,
you're okay though.
I'm fine.
Yeah, that's what Christopher said too. That was sweet, Christopher, to be concerned. I talked
Thank
to her
you.
earlier today and I noticed her eye, but I thought she was just having cat issues because there was a big cat on top of her when I was talking to her. So I just thought it was her cat. You're much more observant than I am, Christopher.
Yeah. So we're just gonna go with that. That small explanation. So let's ask a little bit more about, and I know that a lot of people get a little bit squeaky about me doing this, but I have not actually laid the cards in a long time over the state of the country.
Okay.
So let's find out what's gonna happen with the state of the White House.
Okay. Do you encourage people in the chat because there's some people here, if they have specific questions about these
Yes,
topics, please
ask
type
me.
them into the chat. And not just about your eye or your, that was very sweet of Christopher though. But if you have other questions, I mean, you talked about a lot of things, interest rates and the job market and
Mhm.
AI and housing. What?
Yes, a tarot reading for the Tuesday generals meeting. Jeffrey Goldberg didn't get a mysterious invite like the signal chat. Okay. I'm not sure if you heard all those fall out, but there is something. Um, so there's definitely something going on. This card keeps coming out.
Oh yeah, what is that? Second or third time?
Yeah, it's the 10 of Pentacles, and that's usually the family card. That's usually a good sign, but Page of Swords, I think people are gonna be either let go or they're going to be, expected to do a call to unity. It looks like something is going to be revealed, like some sort of, like, military plan or exactly. I wanna say loyalty check
Yeah,
because
that's what Beth said.
what
Yeah.
what's going on right now, the moon shows not everything that they're showing is completely true and honest. So while they might be saying, "Oh, well, this is for a new scourge," the people who are there, they're gonna have to either lie, get in line, or obey. And I see, like, right here, I see a lot of people they're already on high alert.
Yeah.
Um, but this is the interesting thing. This is a wish card. This is the 10 of Pentacles, and this is like a happy family. And if you look, it shows red and blue united against something.
Well, what just happened with Jimmy Kimmel? There was a unification with that. Could that be something similar? And by the way, Musings who said, when you were commenting on that, said that's what scares her, scares
That
me.
something
Sorry.
is being hidden as usual.
Yeah,
Now,
they said that.
the last two cards that came out are very, very promising because I see justice. So this might have something to do with the Supreme Court. It might actually open up another Supreme Court case. And strength, which is gentleness, taking the lion by the mouth.
I
The
just want
lion
to know.
here,
I just want to know if we're gonna get justice from the Supreme Court because it has not really been siding with the interest of the people, at least in my opinion.
it has not been. And on the bottom, these two kind of just like popped out. Or yes, I thought that there was more, but I see the Three of Swords and I see the Four of Swords. So I want to say that like there might actually be a physical injury involved with this. I don't know for who, but it's interesting that I got the,
I'm
huh?
not. Could you explain that more? Like Beth said, take the lion by the balls. Is that what she said? Yeah, take the lion
Yeah.
by the balls.
So, the two cards I got on the back, because like I was, I was shuffling them, but I don't remember putting them backwards or anything like that, which is
No, you
kind of
didn't.
a,
I didn't see you do
yeah.
that.
So, like on the bottom was the Strength and the Justice card. So this is actually going to be like almost like a test of our sense of justice as a country. But I found it very strange that we got the Three of Swords and the Four of Swords. The Three of Swords is usually a betrayal, but can also be a heart attack or a physical injury.
Oh yeah. Okay.
For example, like, I forget, like, the last time that I did, um, I don't remember if I actually predicted this, but like, the last time that I did a Tarot for America, I think I mentioned like some sort of political violence or some sort of person like dying.
Oh my God, Kirk, Charlie Kirk.
Remember that I had like a Three of Swords,
Yes,
and
you
I was like,
did. Yeah,
stuff is going to go down. I see a betrayal.
yeah.
Kirk
And
is betrayed by the own right wing.
Yanni says at some point POTUS is going to have to rule on who has the actual power of the
The NG
uh,
National Guard.
National Guard. That is going to be, and that could be people getting killed. There could be a skirmish. There could be a fight. There could be an outbreak.
But the reason I want to say that there is like I'm worried because when I see these two together, I see I three of swords and then the four of swords. Usually I take that as a sign that things are going to get you're going to have a rest, you're going to take a break. But look at the Four of Swords. That's a person lying in their crypt.
Yeesh. No, I don't like that.
And it's progressing, like one goes to the other.
We're back to
So,
back, right? They were connected they came out connected.
yeah.
Okay.
So my concern is that something is going to actually like there may actually be somebody might actually get very seriously hurt or even killed. I'm hoping that that's not the case regardless of where they stand politically because violence should not be the
No,
answer.
no.
But I am seeing that there may be something that comes from this they don't that they don't like. That or it could be that we end up here and while I was
That's it.
shuffling, these two fell out.
Oh no.
I'm not kidding. I did not plan this out. Death and the grief card.
Well,
I'm I'm just saying what I found. I'm just saying what I see. Um it could have something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. That could be the guise that they're using as a way to, you know, get all those generals involved. But what my number one gut feeling is that within maybe not immediately during, but shortly after, there's going to be another national tragedy. And this one's actually going to force people to look onto the side of justice. I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to start just refusing to accept orders.
which is the concern about the National Guard. It's concerned about the armed forces. Wasn't there just a crisis recently where some national leader, a foreign national leader, uh, advised, the National Guard and the military in the U.S. not to follow Trump's orders? Didn't that just happen last week?
I want to say it was Zelensky, or I want to say it was the Canadian dude. But I don't remember who it was, but I think he might have been right by that.
Well,
Um,
Well, on November the 11th, we have Uranus going retrograde at 29 degrees of Taurus, which is for its last hurrah because it's going to be in Taurus for a short time. Then it's going to turn around and come back into Gemini, where it's going to be for at least about 7 years. And, our
it's
president
done.
is a Gemini. Uh-huh. And that's sudden upheaval, sudden change, unpredictable. It's revolution. Uranus is the planet of revolution.
So, with Trump being in Gemini, it going into Gemini, what does that mean for the country?
It means a lot of change. We're in a period of chaos. We have been since last January. I mean, all the planets started changing. They went into new sign placements. Like, I was telling you personally that one of the things that were happening for you because you were experiencing all this turmoil is because you are a Pisces, and Neptune, which had moved out of Pisces into Aries, retrograded back and said, you know what? I think I'm going to stay for a few more months. And because it's at the last degrees, it's stirring up stuff for you. And then we also had Saturn, which had moved out of Pisces, where it's been for 2.5, almost 3 years, into Aries. And it said, I think I'll go back as well. So it moved back. It's retrograde. So on November the 8th, we'll have Uranus and Neptune, and we'll have Saturn all retrograde. They're all moving backwards. So it means that we're retracing, we're looking back. It's like, revisiting issues, problems. What did we do wrong? A chance to make things right, a chance to think about it, and things that happened that were maybe tragedies or unpredictable or, shocking events like, Kirk's death gives us an opportunity as a nation to stop and go, hey, what is happening here? And why aren't we doing this or that? So when it goes into Gemini, it starts into a long period of time where there will be a continuing to be change, but it's also speaking. And look what's happening now. We have all these citizen journalists who are standing up, and look what's happening to the people on Substack. They're speaking out. They're sharing their voices. They're really putting out there. Like, look at Walter Ryan. I mean, he's a prime example. He's doing an
Hmm.
amazing job of being a citizen journalist and speaking the truth. And that is going to happen with Uranus in Gemini for, the next several years. Communication is going to be critical, as Rachel pointed out. Yes.
Yes, and Christopher, I don't need to be a psychic to see that the U.S. is losing their friends. As of right now, that reminds me of the time that my friend taught me how to tell if there's alligators in the waters of Florida. You see, they had me put my hand in water, and they're like, "You see how the water's wet?" It's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You see how it's kind of cold?" "Yeah." And then he was like, "Well, that's how you know that there's probably gators in the water of Florida. If it's wet and if it's cold."
Okay. Education as a lamp said Petro called for the U.S. military to join with European military to form a NATO force to protect Palestinians. His visa was revoked in retaliation. That's who I was thinking about. Yes, education. That it was Petro. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, that just
Yeah.
happened like last week, right? Last couple days.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So,
education said President Gustavo Petro. Yeah. Okay. Yes, thank you for explaining that. I sort of had the gist, but I didn't have the details. Oh, hi, Mason. I didn't have the details. So go ahead.
what do you, when is this whole Gemini season, which has been slowly driving America insane, gonna end?
You don't want me to tell you that because it's a very long time.
Uh, ah.
I mean, we're talking
um,
almost a decade. We're talking almost a decade. And we just began an 18-year cycle with the planets where they've moved all into different signs. So where the different planets have different cycles, like Saturn takes 2.5 years to go through. So Saturn will be in Aries for 2.5 years once it moves in there in January. And then Uranus, which will move in to Gemini, it can take 11 years, more or less, to be where it's in a particular sign moving through. And then Neptune can take even longer than that, as long as 14 years. So these are outer planets and they move slower and they're going to bring a lot of change. There's going to be a huge amount of change in this country over the next 18 years.
So let's find out a little bit about what's going to be happening with our communications platforms when it comes to things like Substack, Medium, because for a growing number of people, most of us, including myself, we no longer trust mainstream media. Um, I've seen way too much of the shady backdoor deals to actually trust mainstream media these days. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've seen everything from pay to play to complete and utter denial of legitimate news stories. And it's gotten about, I'd say 10, 15, 20 times worse since I'd say 2015.
Yeah, especially Meta. Meta has really accelerated over the last 2 years, and it started when they announced that they were withdrawing their active moderation teams. They pulled out all their moderation teams, but now they're becoming extremely, like, for example, there's certain meta properties where you cannot publish about abortion or reproductive rights. And Pinterest, by the way, this was shocking to me. You cannot put heavy politics or reproductive rights or women's rights or abortion rights on Pinterest. It'll immediately be taken down. And the same is true for Facebook and Instagram. And there's some other sites that are doing that. If they don't take you down immediately, they may shadow ban you. So you may not think you're being censored, but you still are. And you've talked to me about that.
Yes, so let's find out what's going to be happening with mainstream media, with social media, because what's happening now cannot continue. I can tell you this as not as a psychic, but as somebody who is just boots on the ground. I'm seeing it and people are sick of this shit. Change in fate.
Well, that would make sense with all the change in all the outer planets. Especially
Um
and Rachel, I think, was it Rachel said she's a Gemini? Well, that's really good because the air signs are the people that are going to start really pushing hard to bring the truth that we need. They're going to be bringing the communication that we need.
and us emo fishes, we're gonna cry, I think.
No,
No,
Christopher said Pisces rock. Yes, they do.
yes, they do. So the next thing that I got, because I asked what's going to happen to mainstream media, I asked what was going to happen with social media. I see a really sick betrayal. Like, we're going to start seeing people walking away from it. We're going to start seeing more and more exposés about a lot of the social media groups. Um, I think that we're going to, and like, it's interesting that I got the change in fate card and then I got this. Because right now, social media and the mainstream media, they've been slowly like gripping us by the neck, so to speak. We've had actual documentaries like The Brainwashing of My Dad talk about like how people are getting brainwashed by this shit. And then after this, I see the 9 of Cups, which is interesting on the state of social media. So, and on the bottom, I see people fighting.
Guess
I think
what?
that
Guess what? Social media is ruled by Gemini. And what did I just tell you is going to be happening with Gemini? Uranus is moving in there, which is, basically with Uranus, you pour everything into a paper bag, shake it up, and pour it out. That is what's going to be happening. And by the way, Yanni is a Cancer. And by the way, Yanni, right now you have Jupiter there. So if you're not gaining weight, then your life is expanding in multiple ways. So it's not a bad thing. And us Pisces types, we really like Cancer. So thumbs up.
Mhm.
I like all signs, really. I haven't met a sign I don't like, but water signs are good.
So I definitely see a change in fate. It's interesting that I got the 3 of Swords and the 9 of Cups together. Um I think that that means that we're gonna see a lot of the things that they've been building up. Um, the very social media influencers that they started to groom for the right wing takeover are going to find themselves on their asses, literally just out of a job, persona non grata. Um, people are going to start like really just walking away from it. And they'll be like, listen, man, everything that you guys said would happen has been a categoric lie. Um, so let's find out a little bit about what's going to happen with the non-mainstream social media people such as myself, Karen, and all my lovely Substackites and Beehivers and Mediumers. It's going yeah, exactly. It's not gonna be about massive groups anymore. It's gonna be like individual people who actually put the word in to get the truth. And I think that's probably what that means.
Yeah,
'Cause
Christopher has a good point. Did you see what he said about that, Christopher?
yeah.
Yeah, good one, Christopher. Yeah.
So let's find out about what's gonna happen with the underground creators, the nano creators in this new economy. Um, right now, I see like the chariot, like there's gonna be some people who are gonna be going places. It's gonna be a little bit of it's gonna be a worldwide thing. But I also see the Nine of Wands, which is a healing card. A lot of us are feeling battered. I myself know that I feel battered.
And
So
not by your cat. And not by your cat.
yes, I keep hoping he will change. Um, I do see that things are gonna mellow out for a lot of content creators. I also see because temperance is a card of sobriety, I also kind of want to say that my prediction, it almost feels like there's going to be a certain level of moderation that people are going to start having with social media. Like even even among like younger kids, I've started to notice that there's this tide turning against social media.
The Z Gen. Z
Y Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Like,
Z
it used to be
Alpha.
that when I was, in teen and early 20s, if you were always on social media, you you were considered to be the cool kid. Like, that's how Tila Tequila got her start, that's how, Markiplier got his start, and there's still always gonna be the Tilas, the Markipliers, but I'm seeing now indie houses which are starting to make things like Knights of Guinevere, excellent, cartoon if you guys are interested, but I'm also seeing a lot of people who if you say that you're an incel or chronically online or a 4chaner or anything like that, people give you the side eye. Like, if they notice that you're constantly online or if you're constantly doom scrolling, there's a certain stigma that has come back into fashion, and I don't think it's ever gonna go away because we've started to see how absolutely toxic this shit can be.
Well, unfortunately, with all the censorship, that is really causing a heartache for a lot of people.
Speaking of which, we got some more stuff.
Okay.
Uh, once again, I
Oh,
keep seeing this
what is
card.
that? Yes, that what is that, the 4th time?
Um, I think it's a 4th or 5th time easily. Yeah, Groiper, yeah. So this is going back to my last question. It was about the nano creators and stuff like that. I'm seeing a lot of nano creators banding together in small groups, almost like a family unit. And I see a lot of them getting together, they're signing contracts. So it's gonna be like rather than having like an individual Substack, you might end up having publications where there's like 6, 7, 8 people and they're all contributing and then they all, they have their own share of the income that comes with that.
That would be good. That would be good.
I
Did you see the question Musings had for you? She just bought her dream farm and she wants to know if it's okay to stay or if she should go. She's 62. She just asked about that. Did you see that?
Yeah, so let me ask, should musings stay or go? Let's find out what's going on with musings. Up. So I do see that you are looking abroad, but you're still at home.
I'll be sad if museums
Um,
go. I really like museums. And Brandon said the Collective of Many. Yes, the Collective of Many has 25 writers who all cross post for each other on Substack. That's a really
how did
nice
I never
resource.
hear about this?
Don't know.
God damn it. Somebody hook me up, okay?
Okay.
But as far as your house goes, I'm seeing a
We're
lot of
back to music.
signs.
Yes, musings.
Musings, I'm seeing a lot of signs that one, keep your house. It's showing you holding it tightly. And it's showing you this is you building wealth. The wealth is literally at your feet here. It's also showing you might be looking abroad, but stay.
You know what? What did you say earlier about people are going to depend on people that grow food, that have things that can provide things for other? If they have a farm, I don't know musings what you're
So
doing on your farm, but that could be really good, right?
yeah, the Knight of Pentacles is also the only horse that is not moving. He's just holding his money. And musings, are you near a body of water? Because if you are, that's another sign that you need to stay there. I see the star card, that's you nourishing the earth. I'm seeing body of water. It's a very fertile land.
Oh, that's nice. Well, we need people like that to stay and help us. And Rachel, I'm not going to speak for you, but Rachel is asking if she needs to leave the country. But Rachel said she's a Gemini, and we need that new communication. We need people who can speak for us. And she's a Gemini, and that's great. Gemini will do well with the Uranus and Gemini. They will have the most opportunities. But you would know better than me. I don't have her chart. I'm just telling you what I'm
Beth, absolutely. I'm gonna try to DM you in a bit. Um, but let's see. Rachel, let's find out what's gonna happen. Are you gonna be leaving the country? Are you gonna stay here? Let's find out what's going on. Yeah. So wow, I guess I'm really good at this if I was able to see the creek.
Oh my God. Does she have a baby? Did I miss that? Did I miss that? Did she say she has
Yeah.
a tree? Oh my gosh. She already has a garden planted. Oh God. Well, see, we need you here. Musings, we need you.
So yeah. So Rachel, let's find out what's gonna happen. Are you gonna leave the country as you wish? Let's find out. I do see an ending.
Hmm.
Um, this might actually be you being forced to move.
Oh no.
I also see the judgment card. So it could be very it definitely feels like there's almost like you leaving is not necessarily an escapable thing, but it's also a judgment card. And like with Judgment Day, usually I read these kind of negatively because it could be like a legal judgment, but it can also be a resurrection. Like I kept getting the judgment card about my own bankruptcy, and my judgment actually came out in my favor. I think I told you about that.
Yes, and who told you it would be okay?
You did.
Hello. Yes, I did. I'm so glad that happened. Things are
So
turning for you. I know you don't believe that, but they really are. And once these planets leave Pisces and they go into your Aries, you're going to soar, lady. I'm not kidding. I just hope you still have
so
time to talk to me.
yes, I will, trust me. Now, Rachel, are you looking into Europe, like maybe a Scandinavian country or England, something along those lines?
She'd probably do very well in Switzerland, don't you think?
Because this looks like a Scandinavian flag or a
Oh, it does.
like or like I think it's like one of the UK flags. Ireland.
Oh, Ireland. Oh, that would be good too. Yeah.
Yo, did I call it or what?
Yeah, that's really good. Well, I kept getting Switzerland or, you know, I think she would do
I
well
d-
in Switzerland too.
I just saw like rolling hills and I saw the flag and I was like, wait a minute, this has something to do with like England or some Scandi country. So,
That would be good. My grandparents, my father's parents were born in Ireland and they came to the US and my father was born here and of course I was born here, but Um,
So let's find out what's gonna happen with Earth signs. I'm gonna lay my cards to give you an idea of like what I see.
listen, I love
And
Taurus. I love Taurus. Very, very good. Well, I love all signs, but there's good in all of them.
so
There's no
let's
signs
find
I don't like.
let's find out what the role of Earth signs are during this like time of chaos.
Well, everything's leaving the earth signs. That's what's happening. They're going into air and fire.
Um, okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I have no idea what this means. I asked about like a role to play, and so my initial these are the cards I got. Um, I think that the Five of Swords here as a role to play, I think that there's gonna be a lot of Earth signs who they're gonna be the ones who stand up to the bullies. And I see this like with between well, it's
So, can you
actually it's
show her the
interesting.
cards? Can you show her the cards? Mason wants to see the cards. Okay.
So I just kind of noticed something. The Five of Swords here has one person who has pulled the swords away from two people who have lost things. This it almost looks like they kind of like bullied them out like a bull, like Taurus. This is the Five of Swords is usually like a sign of being forcefully pushed out of a role or forcefully having your stuff taken from you. And here we have two knights, which matches the two people who are knights there who lost their swords. There's the Knight of Death, and then there's the Knight of the Pentacles. I think that it's going to be the Taurus people who are going to say enough is enough with the people from the military and the people who are in charge of Wall Street. They're going to say enough is enough. You can't do this without a salt of the earth types.
Well, there's also the tariff issues, which is
And
affecting the
Mason
market. Yeah.
and Mason says, "I lost my board position for speaking out."
Oh,
So, here's the deal. Taurus is going to be the ones leading taking back for the people. The other two were the Knight of Pentacles and the Death card, which I took that as a sign of the Taurus people are the ones who are pushing the ones who were the bullies away. Because it's Wall Street and it's the people who are sociopaths who are doing really cruel stuff. And Mason, you're not going to be alone in that fight. You're going to have a lot more allies than you think. Um, because at the end of the day, there's a lot more regular Joes than there are Wall Streeters, and there's a lot more regular Joes than there are oligarchs. So I think that's what I'm getting as far as the role goes. Exactly. Death means change in endings, but not necessarily
right.
actual death.
Yeah,
But
no,
when
it
it
can be
comes
a
to
really good. It can, like Rachel said, it can be a good thing. It can be a good
yes.
beginning. It's an ending, but it can also be a beginning.
So if you want to go for um my alternate interpretation of that, you're going to see a lot of earth signs being the ones who are bankrolling, things that give power to the people. And when it comes to the death card, they're going to be the ones who also once again lead the endings to a lot of things. Either way, I see Taurus and all these other earth signs as a leadership position. They're going to be like Lord knows I have had lots of earth signs as friends. Um, trying to get an earth sign to do anything is not going to be an easy task. If they say no and they get fed up with you, good luck. You're done. Have a good day. Try to find anyone else to do it. It's not going to happen.
But you're a Pisces and you're so charming. I mean, you can work things out. So, you're good at that. You have that softness, that really nice energy of Pisces. really good.
Yes, unfortunately, I tend to be like so soft that I just kind of bend over backwards if I'm not careful. Musings, let's see, I've been way too isolationist. I need to convince my very red rural neighbors that we are nice. So, let's do a little reading on the blue dots in red states because you guys are not in a good position. I'm going to be real with you. Like, not only are you stuck with red state politics, you're stuck alone half the time with people who really don't like you for reasons that are out of your control. Um, so let's find out what should the blue dots in red states do? I see a lot of staying alert. Some might want to move. Um, the 9 of Wands is very much a stay alert, don't do anything crazy type thing. I see Page of Cups. Um, and I also see Temperance. So, Page of Cups, definitely put on the charm. Keep things low, keep things guarded, because you don't need to let people know that you're left leaning in a red state where people might be crazy. So, Page of Cups, just gently extend your arm. Don't talk politics. Just be like, "Hi, yeah. Oh, that's a delicious uncle, like a delicious apple pie,
Oh,
Mrs. Mabel."
Mason, Mason, you talked about earth signs being stubborn, and she said, "I am too stubborn to move." Mason,
That is a Taurus. Yes,
yeah,
I have
very
met
good.
many Tauruses.
Yeah, I love that, Mason.
So I'm seeing like those who want to move should consider moving. A lot of time the chariot can also be the people who are very driven.
Did you
So
get a chariot?
yes, I got the chariot for blue dots and red states, which means
Okay.
in this case, I would say that if you're a blue dot in a red state, and I saw the 9 of Wands, I saw the Page of Cups, definitely being a mediator and trying to take on kind of like a healing position in the community. If you have the opportunity to do so, starting up a business where, you get money from other groups and actually bring jobs in to your area, that's going to be a very good way to get a lot of people in red states on your side. Because if there's one thing I can say about red state folk, they never bite the hand that feeds.
That's
Or at least
interesting.
they never bite the hand that feeds them directly. The federal government, they'll just gnaw that shit off. But when it comes to like their employer, they're always going to be very respectful towards you. They're going to actually hear you out. They're going to be a lot kinder to you if they do that, and that's also going to put you in a position of power.
Musings. Oh, she's musings. You're hilarious. Oh, I figured chickens in the garden would, yeah. Okay, would feed them. Yeah.
I'm afraid of chickens, so
What?
Mm. They
Oh, I love
scare me.
chickens.
They're
I no, I
they're
like
they're
chickens so well.
they're
I don't like
loud.
roosters. Roosters can be scary.
Well,
Roosters.
I mean they're loud, and one of them chased me until they managed to get me stuck up on a picnic table.
Oh no. Oh no. That's
My mom had to like get somebody to pick up the chicken and walk away with it. Oh, no, no, no. I know the turkeys are worse. Bro, my preschool teacher freaking lied to me. They do not look like my hand with a beak attached to it. They make demonic noises and they stare at me.
oh yeah. 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 And I don't like geese. I don't like geese. They scare me because they're bigger.
Fun fact, my husband used to have a rivalry with the geese
Oh
up in
no.
Englewood
Oh no.
because at one point the geese noticed that he had some food in his back pocket and they
Oh,
pantsed him in front of everyone.
oh no. No, your poor husband.
Those geese were scary, man. Like I mean, not for nothing, but like I've never seen geese that aggressive in an urban area before.
Well, you've covered a lot of ground. I don't know what you have left to ask.
Um, I guess let's find out what's gonna happen with whatever's going on in the White House right now. Like actually the human beings who live there, the president, the vice president. Let's do one last question, then we're gonna wrap things up, okay?
Okay, that seems fine to me.
All right, let's see what's going on in this inside the White House. What's gonna happen in the next couple months with them? They're definitely gonna be living in a lap of luxury. Like it's almost as if they're having their let them eat cake moment.
Well, they're building that golden ballroom.
I see Trump ruling with an iron fist. This is interesting. I see a woman who, like, is in a lot of ways the polar opposite of Trump. Maybe
I think
some
Melania is very different from him. You know, she has come out very pro-choice. He is not pro-choice. She has come out pro-women's rights. He is not that. She's come out different opinions from his in education. I don't know if that's her that you're picking up, but
there's definitely a woman, and I want to say that she has light hair, but she's really upset with him.
well, she is a light brunette.
I do see them doing like parades, like almost like victory marches. They really do feel like they're winning right now, but there's a lot of like bills being signed, people being behind the scenes. Um
Well, we know that's true. Look what's happening with all the things that they're trying to push through, all the policies they're trying to push through.
no, this is the interesting thing. This is usually a card which deals with nostalgia. I don't think that they're being nostalgic. I think this is a sign of Alzheimer's.
Well, you know, did they pave over the rose garden?
Yes, but I get the feeling that there's like some sort of disease of the mind.
Anything's
Uh,
possible.
I feel like there's a disease of the mind. I also feel like there's people who are kind of encouraging it to get worse.
But how would we even know? Like, you know, you talked about before, there's a lot of information that we're just not
Being
privy to.
hidden.
Yeah, hidden.
So let's find out
Beth.
what's
Beth's
yeah,
hilarious.
brainworms,
And
batshit crazy.
yeah, yeah, Beth. Funny.
Maybe we should ask what's gonna happen with Trump's overall self. I see money. I
Oh,
see the
he's worth
sun.
now 3 billion.
Yeah, he's definitely just working on amassing his fortune. But once again, I see
Is that the
this is gonna.
star or the sun? That's the sun.
Yeah, that's the sun. And you know, it's weird that I'm getting the sun and I'm getting these nostalgia cards and I see once again there's a baby there. But he's not a baby. I don't I don't know if that means that he has like an illegitimate child or something,
That has been
but
a question, but it's been shut down every time it comes up. I just saw that recently where they were asking about that and, you know, he denies having any illegitimate children anywhere. He denies ever impregnating a woman out of wedlock, so who knows? I mean,
I feel like he might be sneaking around about a child out of wedlock, but I almost want to say that I'm getting the feeling that he's going to start very publicly sundowning.
oh my gosh, well, that how are they gonna hide that?
They won't. There was a maid allegedly who had his child, which yeah, that kind of tracks.
I would love to know more about that, Rachel. Oh,
Um,
Beth, I would love to know more about that.
that would actually make sense with the Queen of Cups too.
That was one of the cards. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, anywho, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I've been picking up. Uh, I didn't necessarily see like a tower card or anything like that, so we're not going to hear anything in the nearest future.
So nothing about the, Epstein files are gonna keep that from us. They've been hiding it forever. Nothing new
Oh,
about that.
actually, why don't we just ask about the Epstein files?
Yeah, that's a good
Because
one. I'm glad you thought of that.
yeah, you thought about that. Um, Somebody who's actually very well liked is this could actually be Jeffrey Epstein, but I see like a very socialite type person being implicated in this. There's a lot of people like they they keep trying to this is the you're asking but you're not getting card. And to a point, I think that people are trying to distract from the Epstein files and it's just
Oh,
not
yeah.
working.
Yeah. Distract us.
They are going to come out. There's going to be leaks.
Oh. Hmm.
The Ace of Wands is usually a secret that comes out.
You know, a bunch of stuff came out recently about Fergie, the UK Fergie, the
Mhm.
Duchess. A bunch of stuff came out with her about her and her husband, her ex-husband with Epstein, and now she's being shunned in England. So there
So
are leaks. There are leaks coming out.
So I also pulled out three cards related to the leaks. I see the Page of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, and the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups, I do think that this is like a romantic couple.
Hmm.
It might come out that Jeffrey Epstein was romantically involved with Ghislaine,
Could be.
or it could be one of his other slaves that he was romantically involved with.
Or maybe the wife of a politician. Who knows, right?
Very likely.
Yep.
Knight of Wands, it's rapid, but it's not like crazy rapidly showing. Oh, and speaking of, we also got the Knight of Swords. So it's gonna feel like actually, let me ask, when should we expect to hear or see a leak?
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be coming from from a woman. It's gonna be a
Okay.
widow, somebody who experienced loss. And let's
Okay.
see, Patel's future. And RFK Jr. All right, let's find out what's going on with Cash Patel.
Okay. That's interesting.
Oh, he made a deal with the devil.
Well, he's been falling apart lately. Have you noticed that?
The devil card is also a card of addiction. I know because it shows up on my personal readings quite a bit. This is a dude who like he is completely not at the mercy of his own self-control. He's just a
Who-
puppet. Other people are pulling the strings and he knows it and he's fucking miserable.
Who's the other one in the cabinet right now that has a serious drinking problem? There's somebody that has a serious drinking problem.
So let's see. Let's do RFK Jr. RFK Jr., this is going to be a case where you reap what you sow. RFK Jr. is pissing off a lot of pharmaceutical companies, and I would not want to be him.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Now, let's see. Do you think Vance is conveniently involved with
Erica Kirk.
um Erica
Erica
Kirk?
Kirk.
Let's find out what's going on with Erica Kirk right now because she's an
Keg's
interesting
breath.
character.
Oops. Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Beth said Keg's breath. Heg's breath. Yeah. Hegseth is the alcoholic, right? Did I get that right?
yeah. So Erica Kirk is interesting because I asked what's going on with her. Uh, she's being held up as a pinnacle of strength. And the weird thing here is that all of these cards show feminine power. She's playing in the family, the wifey thing. She's playing in the angelic Christian card, quite literally. But make no mistake about it, she is really clawing for that leadership. She got what she wanted. She doesn't need a man anymore. That's what I'm getting for this.
Interesting. All very, very interesting. Well, we have an hour of notes here. I'll try to write some of them up, but last time it was like it took me days to write everything up, but I'll try to go back and write it up and
Thank you
send it to
so
you.
much. I hope today has been enlightening. If you guys want me to do a reading for you, just hit me up, DM me. I'm always open.
Yes, I'm going to do an advertisement for you, not for me. I have had several readings with this lovely person, this lovely Pisces, and I've been working with a psychic for over 10 years. She's really, really good. She's fantastic. But I have to tell you, Ossiana's better. And she's much more affordable. And she's giving me some I mean, here's an example, just one little example. So we had been told that somebody was going to come and visit us who's kind of dangerous for my husband and I. We were told this person told us they were going to come visit us, and they were very firm about it. Well, we're going to be in your neighborhood. We're going to come visit you, and I was very concerned about it, especially for my husband because this is not a person that is a good person. And so I called Ossiana, and she did it. I paid her to do a reading for me. And she told me, no, the person would not come. We would not hear from the person. They would go on a trip, but they would bypass us completely. And guess what? Within 30 days, that is exactly what happened. I was so relieved. So she's amazing. I cannot speak highly enough about how good she is. And she's a Pisces. I love Pisces. So, heart.
Yeah, and I apparently also have the psychic star sign stuff going on. So
You do right now. It's really strong. So take advantage. This is the time to jump on. So thank you for including me. I really enjoyed seeing everybody. Thank you, Mason and Beth and Mary Jo and Astro and who's the guy that's the Pisces that was on here? Musings.
I think Christopher.
Christopher, yes. And yeah, thank you everybody. It was so great seeing everybody. And I don't know if Mary Jo's still here, but hey, Mary Jo. So thank you so much. Mwah. See you soon.
Later. Bye.
Bye.